Okay.
But so before we go to the lead gen things, there's a couple things. I just want to go through what I did when I started doing this. Okay, so I spent probably about 80% of my time doing lead gen stuff, trying to get my first deal, and 20% of the stuff doing the stuff that I have on my screen right now, which is kind of setting up your business and getting things, getting things moving. So I
Okay.
want to go over that with you first, and then we'll go into lead gen. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So first thing I did was I set up, an LLC for my company. You haven't done that at all, have you?
No.
Okay. And again, if money's tight, you don't have to do this right now, but that would be one of the first things if you did get a property, you need to have like an LLC business to work under as far as like things like that. So, you want to look into that. If you go to New Jersey LLC online, you can get one for about $128.
Okay.
So that's something you want to think about now. So that was the first thing I did. The second thing I did, I got qualified for for hard money, pre-qualified. Did I give you the information for that as far as who to contact for that?
I don't think I have anything from you guys for your partners or the hard money people that you work with.
Okay, so when I email you this, I want you to look into these three: Ashmore Partners, Express Capital, and Anchor Loans.
Okay.
Okay, if you can get pre-qualified for one, the reason being that is if you're going to make an offer on a house, a lot of times they're going to be asking you for proof of funds. And a hard money lender, if you're pre-qualified, and they don't really look, you don't need assets or anything like that. Mostly it's credit score, and then you'd have to redo the application when you had a property. But if you get pre-qualified, you can get proof of funds.
Okay.
So that's why that's important. So the Ashmore Partners, Express Capital, Anchor Loans are pretty decent. So look into that. Give them a call, ask them what their you want to get pre-qualified, ask them what their procedures are, and just fill out whatever application you need to fill out and get, at least for one of them, get pre-qualified. Doesn't even mean you have to use them down the road. Just get pre-qualified for one.
Okay.
Now, if you have an issue with getting a proof of funds and you can't get pre-qualified, I can always get one for you. It's not the end of the world. So another thing that I worked on, and again, this might be down the road for you, is doing a website. Because
sorry.
Go ahead.
I actually do have a website from like Wix or something like that. I need some work on it because it's not, I got it up and running, but it's not like the content probably isn't that good. So I would probably need to work on it. I do have a website though. It's not, there's nothing really to it,
Okay, well, that's fine. Well, do me a favor. Look into Investor Carrot. Just look at their website. I put it here. A lot of the people use them because it's on the cheaper side. They give you a template, and you just plug in your information, and you just go from there. If you punch up, I want to sell my house for cash online, you'll see a lot of the websites that come up. They all look very similar. They're all Investor Carrot.
Okay.
The thing is if you ever do like paid Facebook advertising or anything like that, you can funnel that into your website. So that way, so my website, people will come in, they would fill out, I want to sell my house. I would get immediately notified via email, and then I can call them. I've got a lead. Someone came in and they want to sell their house. So you don't have to go through that bullshit of cold calling people that are not interested. These are people that are interested.
Sure.
So that's something, you want to work on as well. Starting a Facebook page for your company is another thing that I did as well, for my LLC, whatever that was. I set up a Facebook page so I can start getting exposure and people could start seeing it out there because, you never know where some leads can come from. So having a Facebook page and a website is always a decent thing to do. The Facebook page is easy. You can start that for free. Just come up with like a name of a company that you'd want it to be. Did you get that last one?
The Facebook page one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I screenshotted the whole thing. So
Okay. I'm going to send this to you anyway, so don't worry about it.
okay.
Getting business cards made. This is more for back when we were networking and actually meeting people. So, I mean, I guess you don't need them for right now, but if you ever do, if it does ever does get back to where they have regular meetup events, I would make it a point to go to at least one a week. And I would make so many contacts in that. I really would. I got a couple of deals that way, and it just worked really well. So that's another thing you want to do down the road. Hiring a VA, you can pay them $4 to $5 an hour, and they can do so much of the follow up. Help with the lead generation, posting, all that kind of stuff. I had one. We have about 6 at JDL. But sometimes sometimes some of these things become so time consuming as far as follow-ups and things like that, having someone work for you for 10 hours or 12 hours a week doing some task stuff is definitely sometimes worth your while. But again, it depends on what kind of budget you have. If you don't have the budget for that right now, then like hold off. But it's something that definitely was extremely helpful for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the next one, I'm going to give you, like I said, a bunch of lead generation ideas. I want you to choose like either 2, 3, maybe 4 of them to start with. And then you're going to do kind of what you did. Like you did prop stream, and that's one of them. And I'll go through that in a minute. But, and you want to reevaluate. So after a while, if you're doing it and you don't see it's working or your results are not that great, you want to think about canning that and moving on to something else.
Sure.
So it's always about reevaluation. We reevaluate all our marketing stuff, and we see if something's working really well. Well, we want to spend more of our time here. This one's not working at all. Let's dump this one. Let's try this new one over here. Let's give this a shot and see if this works. So it's always that kind of thing to find out which marketing is good for you. Just sticking with one, and if it's not working, is going to make you run around in circles. And I think that's what's happening to you right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a thing that you want to consider is picking a few, going with it, reevaluating, and then figuring it out from there. And then I always set my goals for myself. So once I got up and running, my goal in week 1 was to make 1 offer. In 2 weeks, it was to make 2 offers per week. 3 offers was about 3 weeks, and now I make about 6 offers per week on properties. So you want to kind of set some goals for yourself, and you want to stick to them. You figure out when you want to make that first offer, and you're going to make that offer that week. I don't care how you get to it or what you got to do. You got to make that offer.
Sure.
Because it becomes more about volume and things like that. You want to just be able to get comfortable putting offers out there, because that's when you're going to start to hit. When you're making 5 or 6 offers a week, all of a sudden you're going to get a yes, and that's where it comes from. But doing 1 offer a month, it's going to take you a year to get your first deal.
Sure.
Okay. And then the last thing that I did is I put an action plan for each month, and I broke it down by week. So, and I want you to do that as well. And I want you, if you're comfortable with that, I want you to send it to me, after we're done with today. So week 1, this is my action plan. I'm going to do this, 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 and this. I'm going to research hard money lenders. I'm going to look into Investor Carrot. I'm going to start this new marketing campaign. Week 2, I'm going to start, I want to talk to, homeowners or realtors, and I want to start making offers week 3. I'm going to make 2 offers on week 3, things like that. Just make an action plan for what you want to do and stick with it.
Okay.
Okay. So that all being said, this is stuff that I worked on the side. Some of these things were 4 months down the road. Some were 6 months, some were a year, some I want to work on immediately. But eventually, if you want to set this up as a business and you want to do well, you're going to have this all set up at some point in your business to really get a good flow of things moving.
Okay.
All right. So going down to lead gen. Okay. So we've got paid stuff and we've got free stuff. So I'm going to go through each one with you one by one, and then we're going to figure out which ones are the best ones we think we should focus on. Okay. So the first one is where is working on Zillow. Now, have you done any work on just going through Zillow and looking at houses that are available, FSBOs and things like that?
Yeah, so I was calling for sale by owners on Zillow, and it was kind of a disaster.
Yeah.
Most of them, when Doug was on the call, the first call that we did, I think I told him that I was getting people that I felt like it was either other wholesalers or other like rehabbers, like fix and flippers who rehab the house and tried to list it on Zillow themselves, at least in my area. But the people that I was talking to were like, they were kind of like asking me questions, and then they were like, well, don't waste my time, if you're not really serious about buying, don't waste my time.
Yeah, I
um
mean, listen, you're gonna run into that on even calling agents and FISBO. So you want to, like I think we had talked about this before, is come out with it with some confidence and be able to have the major points in a discussion that you want to have in, and maybe at the end we can spend a little bit of time talking about that as well. But that's what it is. It's about confidence and knowing exactly what you want and exactly what you need to ask for, and being able to carry that conversation. If you don't do that, good, and you're gonna f up many times. I probably the first 20 calls I made to FISBOs were a disaster,
mhm.
but I learned
Yeah.
and I got better at it, and then I became better. So don't expect to be perfect in the beginning. You're not going to be,
Okay.
but it's something you want to work on. Again, it's coming from a confidence standpoint, and then at the end, let's work on that a little bit at the end, okay?
One.
So if you're a little uncomfortable about doing the VISBOs, then go through agents. So if I find a property that I like on Zillow,
Mhm.
I do my deal analysis. I'll call up the listing agent and I'll talk to them. Again, I'll say, hey, Bob, this is Rich. I'm an investor in Monmouth County area. I'm looking to buy some properties. I saw this one online. I just want to know if you could help me, give me some information about it. I see that it's got 3 beds, 4 baths. How's the roof? Do you know how the roof is? Blah, 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 this, and this. I'm like, and then I'll tell them, I was like, listen, I'm going to need, I'm looking for properties, all over the county. So I don't know if you have access to anything that, fits my criteria. I'm looking for something in the 150, $250,000 range. That is that's definitely needs some work to it. That's not really a retail buyer. That's the kind of properties I'm interested in, Bob, and that's the ones that I want to buy. And I can definitely use you as my listing agent because I don't have any other agents in that area. That's the kind of conversation you want to have with somebody like that.
Sure.
My first deal I got through an agent. Okay. Now I made a goal. I think the first week was to call 10 agents. Now I'd either cold call them or I'd actually find a property that looked decent, and I call them through that. And then once I got the information with the agent, I would go do my due diligence and I call the agent back up and I'd say, hey Bob, listen, I looked at this property, I ran the numbers. I'm not really sure if this one's going to be work. This one works. The numbers work for me, but I'm definitely, I'm up for something in this area. So I definitely like to see if you'll be able to send me something, anything that would be that fits my criteria. I'd love to be able to do business with you and have you as my agent in that area. That'd be fantastic. Um, and you can say you've closed. I bullshit them a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I've closed properties in other locations before, but we're moving into the Monmouth County area right now. You want to make it sound like you know what you're doing and you've done it before, even if you haven't.
Sure.
Okay. So that being said, you can make offers through the agent. You don't have to be in direct contact with the seller or the bank. So I would call up Bob and I would say, hey, Bob, I went through the numbers. The house is listed for 250,000. I'm going to put an offer in at 1/5. And then have him put in the offer. He's going to ask you for a proof of funds. Give it to him. He'll put in the offer, and then he'll either come back and say no, yes, or counter.
Okay.
If it looks like it's not going to go anywhere, then you just, all right, great. Listen, this one's probably not going to work out. So, hey, Bob, let's go. Let's find another one. You got anything else for me? I want to get something. I'm hungry. I want another property. Now, when you're going through your numbers, just to give you an idea, so whatever it's offered on Zillow, or if an agent gets you an MLS listing, you can probably make an offer 70 to 80% of that value. is not ridiculous. If you're
Okay.
going to offer half or 30% of that value, that number, it's going to be way lowballing, and they're just going to get pissed off at you.
Sure.
So you want to be about 70 to 80% of what the value is. So if it's 200,000, you can offer 160. That's not unreasonable.
Okay.
Okay. So just keep that in mind when you're making offers. So I had an agent the first week. We made two offers, got declined. I think we made 2 offers the next week. It took me about a month and a half with him to finally get one. And I got some guys that are good that light. And once you close with one of these agents, they'll send you shit all the time.
Sure.
And they'll call you up and say, listen, I got this thing that just came on the market. Nobody knows about it, blah, blah, blah. Here's the stuff. Getting that first one is difficult, but if you can get a couple of good agents that will help you, and do you ever go on Bigger Pockets?
Somebody else asked me that. I don't have an account, but I go on there for information. But
set up a free account.
Okay.
You don't have to do the paid one. I don't. And then I posted something looking for investor-friendly agents in whatever county you're in. And I would get a lot of hits from that.
Okay.
So that's another one. And, like when you're going through Zillow too, or you're going to call up an agent, any properties that you might be interested, make sure it looks like it needs a decent amount of work.
Sure.
Because if it doesn't, if it looks like it's ready to go, it's probably going to be priced much more closer to retail, which you don't want.
Okay.
You want something, because a retail buyer is not going to be able to get a conventional loan if it needs 50,000 or 40,000 rehab. They're not going to give them a construction. They would need a separate construction loan. So those properties that you find on Zillow that look like they need a lot of work, a lot of them will be bank owned, which is no big deal. That are bank owned are really for investors only.
Okay.
So those are the ones you want to target. Those are the ones you want to call your agent for and tell them that you're very interested in buying this property.
Sure.
Okay. So that's Zillow, and that's something I think you might want to start with as well. The top 3 and maybe a couple other ones. So the next one is just networking through meetups. I know there's no events out there, but I would always make it a point to visit at least one meetup event per week, no matter what. I always went to one. I made a lot of good contacts there. Now, can't do that right now, but going on meetup.com, you can sign up for some of the webinars, and you can actually message people as being registered as part of this webinar group. And you can ask people. I used to go on the meetup for the West Orange one. I used to go on meetup.com and say, hey, anybody know any good agents, investor-friendly agents in Monmouth County? And some of the guys would respond and give me some good names to call.
Okay.
So I would probably go on Meetup and sign up for at least 1 or 2 Zoom meetings per week, no matter what.
Okay.
All right. And start making some connections. You can chat with them on the chat box. Put some comments in there, or you can actually chat in that group area later when the webinar is over as well.
Okay.
Okay. So that's another strong one. I've gotten properties from that. Now, the next one is kind of like number 1, is calling real estate agents in your target area and build relationships with them and have you send properties that fit your criteria. And again, it's, I would make it a point to call 5 agents in my area. And I would tell them, who I am, what I do, what my criteria is, and, be able to bait them with the fact that I need a listing agent in that area for when I do fix this up. I'd like you to be that person for me. It gives them incentive to find you things. And again, it's just mostly coming from a much more confidence kind of talking to. If the agent thinks you're serious and knows what you're talking about, just like the FSBO, they're going to pay much more attention to you than if you don't.
Okay.
And you're going to have to practice it. You're going to have to call up agents and screw up and get better at it and say, what did I used to make a phone call to an agent or a FSBO and I said, that was horrible. Why? What did I do wrong? and I would write down the 3 or 4 or 5 things that I fucked up on. And I'll say, how can I make that better? Okay, we can do it this way, this way, and this way. So next call, I did that. And then I only screwed up a couple less things, and I got a little better at it. And then I did the same process until now I can call up an agent and I can, I can talk to him a piece of cake without any paper in front of me at all.
I was gonna ask, from when you guys said you took a look at my script, and then you said you had another one that was like kind of just bullet points, but it wasn't exact. It
Yeah,
wasn't exact like my script. Like it was
right.
like easy to get lost in. Is there a script that I should use when talking to agents and for sale by owners?
Yeah, I think I have that somewhere. Let me see if I do that kind of bullet point as far as seller conversation goes. I'll get that to you today.
Okay.
Okay, so you have that. You can always take a look at it. If you have any questions, you can always let me know. Um, you can go on Craigslist sometimes. I haven't done that in a while, but I did get one property this way. Have you ever been on Craigslist?
I have. From what I heard, Craigslist was I heard like I think I went on Craigslist to post like a dummy ad, like the same as Facebook Marketplace. I think I posted my own couple of dummy ads to attract cash buyers. So like it was like blah 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 3-2 for sale,
Right.
you know, to build my cash buyer list.
Mhm.
I haven't been on there looking for deals, and from what I heard, and that's just what I've heard, it wasn't. It was kind of not not that it wasn't useful, but I've just heard kind of negative things about Craigslist.
Yeah, so let me give you a little bit about Craigslist. Yes, there are a lot of stuff that's shit on there, but I used to troll it like maybe once a week and see if there's anything that looked interesting, that's for sale that people were listing, either for sale by owner or wholesaler. And I'd make some phone calls, and I'd also build relationships that way too. And yeah, there are a lot of people that are full of crap. So it wouldn't be my number one choice for marketing, but it's an option.
Mm-hmm.
Just to go through. You can kind of test it out. Maybe go spend a week on Craigslist and make some calls and see where it goes. And if you say, this is all just working out like shit, you can.
Sure.
It's all that kind of stuff. It's just something that you can do for free. That's a possibility.
Okay.
Putting organic posts on Facebook is another thing. Post it on Facebook. Say, I used to put Bandit signs. We want to sell your house, pay cash quick. Drop a message if you're interested, and I would ask my friends to share it. I try to get it out as much as I can, as wherever I can, and do that. This is a free something and see what comes back.
Sure.
It's something to try. If it doesn't really work out or it's not working too well, you don't have to do it. But again, it's just putting some posts out. Really doesn't cost a lot of time, a lot of money. This one probably a little bit more difficult until you get better with your speaking skills. I probably wouldn't do this. But contacting lawyers, divorce lawyers and probate lawyers to send you leads can be really good. Really good. However, two things. Number one, it's hard to get in contact with the lawyer themselves. There's always a person you have to go through first.
Yeah.
And you got to be good on the phone. I mean, really good on the phone.
Yeah.
Being able to convince them. But if you can get a lawyer that is a probate lawyer and say, listen, you get any clients that come in, that just acquired a property and wants to get rid of it, refer them to me. I'll be able to get this off your hands really quick, and they'll be happy, and they'll be happy with you, blah, blah, blah. But that's something you can do. But again, I wouldn't do this right off the bat. This is something I would do down the road a little bit. But it can be, if you get 1 or 2 lawyers that are a divorce lawyer or probate lawyer, you can be set, dude.
Yeah, it's like a gold mine, right?
They send you shit all the time. But the problem is being able to speak on the phone, and number 2 is getting actually to them. But you could always do some research on that. There's some techniques and strategies to do, but I wouldn't focus much on that right now.
Okay.
Did you ever do bandit signs or no?
I did, but I think they were taken down within like 2 or 3 days, to be honest with you. And my market, like I'm not in Trenton, but I'm close to Trenton, so like a lot of the major highways that I put them off of, it's just so saturated in Trenton. Like
Yeah.
there's like one block at Trenton, Ewing, Lawrenceville, whatever. One block is like this color bandit sign, and then another block. It's like
Yeah.
it's very saturated in Trenton with bandit signs.
That's
So
true. I mean, and I agree. If it's that way, I definitely wouldn't pursue that. But maybe possibly looking at another town or area close to that area, maybe that doesn't have that much.
sure.
And then what I do is what you see here is to get them not to be taken down, put them on out on Friday in the like around noon, and take them down Sunday night.
Okay.
That way the township is closed, so they're not going to go around and pull all your bandit signs.
Okay.
So consider that. I mean, you could try. That's a marketing you could try. See, find an area, like figure out an area, drive around, see if you see a lot of these things. If you don't, say, hey, listen, here's something. So go find, whatever areas, do a Friday to Sunday put down and see what kind of leads you get from it.
Okay.
It does work, but you just got to put in the time and the effort for it.
Sure. Yeah, I did put them out this is back like during the winter when it was cold. I think I did put them out like around busy intersections. Like I put one off of like Route 1. I think I put one on like 29. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Trenton or not, but
A little
like
bit.
some of the busier roads, like I put them on, but then they were taken down almost immediately. I don't know why the bandit signs that they have upright that other people have up right now seem like they've been there for a while. So I'm guessing just now they're not going about taking them down as quickly.
Well, with the COVID stuff, they're probably not out there so much, and the townships are shut down, so it's easier. But what I would do is I wouldn't put it on super big highways like that. I would put it on intersections in town.
Okay.
Like go in town, find a fairly busy intersection and put one there. Another intersection in town, put one there. Things like that. Do it more local instead of putting it on a big thing. But they're probably not being taken down because of the COVID thing. The municipalities are shut down, so they're not enforcing this stuff right now.
Okay.
But if you put it out on a Friday and move it on a Sunday, a lot of times they'll stay. Just a little tip. So, that's something you might consider. Find an area, put them down, Friday to Sunday, and put them in intersections and see kind of, again, it'd be an experiment. It would be something you try. If it didn't work, you give it a month, do it 4 weeks in a row. If it doesn't work, well, you can that and you move on to something else.
Sure.
Okay. So the next thing would be like driving for dollars. And I think we talked about that. Did you use the Deal Machine app?
Yeah.
What did you get with that? Did you get anywhere with any of those?
So what I did, because I found Deal Machine to be kind of expensive. So like I had my Deal Machine account, which is like $50 a month or whatever, and that was okay. But I found it to be a little bit expensive per skip trace and per like postcard and stuff like that. So instead of using Deal Machine for that, I did like REI skip or something
Right.
like that, and then I added them to my list separately. So I didn't do it through the app
Okay.
because each lead was getting to be kind of just trying to save money. So each lead was getting expensive through Deal Machine after 100 leads or so.
Right. Well, I would do that. I still do that to this day. I don't use Deal Machine either, but the same type of thing that you were doing. If you drive around, you see something, right? You can skip trace it real cheap. I make up my own flyer, send it to them, and call them.
Okay.
And so what? You call them, say, listen, you're just selling that we saw this property. I know you're the owner. They ask you, you got it. You could just say, I drove by, I saw it, I looked under the tax records, and I got your information. Just interested they're selling it. If they're not, well, hey, thanks very much, and have a great day. And you've only spent a couple of dollars and about 2 minutes on the phone.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm always out there looking. If I see something, I'll drop the address down real quick and check it out, and I'll make a quick phone call, 5 minutes of my time, and you see what happens. And then the next one, which kind of goes hand in hand in that, is getting a bird dog. You know what that term is?
Bird dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not
Is,
sure. I'm not sure quite how to do it. But I'm familiar with
you can put stuff out that says you're looking for, have a real estate investment company, and we're looking for people to help us acquire properties.
Okay.
And you can like post that on some of the Facebook groups. And get some of these guys, and tell them you can do it on a commission only basis. Say, listen, I've got everything together I need for these properties. I just need someone to help me, look for them. So, if you find anything, I'd be able to give you a, 10%, commission on anything I close on that comes from you.
Sure.
I found a simple bird dog agreement online, and I had him sign that. It just states that I would give you 10%, blah, blah, blah. And it can definitely work. You don't want to say bird dogs. You just want to say you're looking for, I have an investment company looking for partners to help me locate properties.
Okay.
That's it. And then you talk to them on a commission only basis. You find something, bring it to my attention. I've got, I have all the tools to be able to close on this, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll give you, a flat fee. And, having those guys kind of work for you, I did that in the very beginning. And I got a couple leads off it. I'm not sure if anything panned out because I didn't keep it too long. But it's an avenue worth looking into.
Okay.
Okay. That way you don't have to drive around for dollars. Let them drive around, find an interesting property, and just let you know.
Sure.
Okay. So those are the free ones that work the best, as far as that goes. Now the paid ones here, I'll go through these, and some of these again you might not be able to afford right now, but some stuff that you might want to think about. So using your website and SEO to attract leads to your website is always is really good. That's what we do, Doug does, and we get tons of leads coming in per day because of that. But that takes your website to be set up, and it takes some SEO work to get your rankings higher.
Okay.
So that's one thing you want to do. The second one is using Facebook targeted ads to generate leads to go to your website. Because the thing is, you want a place where people can go to see that you're legitimate. And then they want a place where from your Facebook ad, they can put their information. And then it automatically would send me an email, and then I would call them up immediately and start discussions. But you're going to get warm leads there. You're going to have people that want to sell their house. They wouldn't have opted in if they didn't.
Sure.
Now, have you ever done a Facebook ad before?
No.
Okay. You can spend as little as $5 a day, and you can go from there. But I used to spend like $30 or $40 or $50 a week and do a Facebook ad, and I would see what kind of hits I get off it. You can target it. You can target your ad. Say you want, male or female, 45 to 65. I don't think you could do income anymore. They won't let you do that anymore. But you can go through all the, you can actually look on YouTube on how to target Facebook ads for real estate investors. It's very helpful.
Okay.
So look at that. But you might want to try throwing up an ad there and seeing what you get. You can kind of look at, take a look at some examples of other Facebook ads, find out how they target, do some research on it. And then once you get all that stuff, maybe say, all right, I'm going to spend $50 for the next 2 weeks, $50 each week for the next 2 weeks, and put in a Facebook ad and see what kind of leads I get. And again, you're going to get warm leads. So you're not going to get a lot of FUs and I don't want to sell my property type deals.
Yeah.
Right.
How?
Go ahead.
So how do you set that up? So it's probably to do with someone posting something either on Facebook, like keywords, or searching for something that you also also post? I'm I'm just not sure how it works.
Well, so what I would do is I would do a Facebook ad. I want to sell your house, have a picture, maybe brief description, and then I would hear click here to go to our Facebook page maybe, or like if you ideally want them to go to your website, but if you don't have a website, you want to click them to go to your page. But so what I would do is I would create an ad. I would target that ad. I would put my advertising budget I wanted to spend, and then I would when it was the click here for more info lead, it would usually take them directly to my website, which is
Okay.
easy to do. You put your link there, and it just automatically goes there. And then they could fill out that little form on your website, and then usually the website would immediately email me a notification, and then I will contact them. If you
Okay.
don't have all that in place, you can have the Facebook ad go to a Facebook page that maybe the Facebook page is "We want to buy your houses" by Jeremy, and then interested in selling your house. Maybe click here for more information, and then maybe there's a field there that can generate a lead that gets sent to you.
Okay.
It'll be cheaper than the website. I don't remember exactly how we did it, but there's a way to do it. You just have to do some research on that.
Okay.
All right. The next one is, of course, using PropStream. So we tried that, didn't have some great success with that. I think a lot of it was because of your speaking skills, which we're going to work on in a few minutes.
Sure.
But it has worked for us. Being able to filter properly is good. I would maybe suspend this for now, or maybe just you want to get better at your skills, because the phone call is where it's at. Target a certain town, skip trace, and you call them all. But you want to mostly use like older. If you're going to do multifamily, mostly an older person that has high equity in the house. If it's a single family, you want to target someone that's in pre-foreclosure or foreclosure.
Okay.
Okay, those are people that either want to get out quicker, so you have a much better chance of them being interested in selling their house, as opposed to just some random house.
What I was
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
What I was doing with PropStream was I was targeting out-of-state absentee owners, which I figured they weren't really that motivated. But the list that I thought would be motivated that wasn't motivated was the tax lien list, and I'm not sure why they weren't motivated. Just none of them ever called me back or answered the phone calls or anything like that. So that was one that was surprising to me that wasn't motivated. Like I could see out of state absentee owners not being motivated because they own the house free and clear, or so maybe have other plans for the house. But with the tax liens, they ended up not being motivated too. And I was wondering why, because most of the time the house is paid off. They don't want to lose the house. And it's only a small lien that they have to pay. So,
Well, see, the thing is, if it's a small lien, a lot of times they have plans on paying it. Unless it's something very large, like a foreclosure is much more bigger
sure.
than a tax lien. So if they owe a few thousand, that doesn't necessarily mean they want to sell their house just because they have a few thousand in a tax lien. There's ways around that, where a foreclosure is something a little bit more bigger.
Okay.
So what I would do, see, like in this, what you should have done is you should have used PropStream. You did that filter and that didn't work. So you need to look back and say, okay, this didn't work. So what am I going to try next? So, again, with PropStream, I think maybe you would want to go through two things. You would want to look for a foreclosure list, or an older owner, like if you want to do multifamily, an older owner with higher equity, and try those two lists and see how those work.
Okay.
So I would pick one. I would go with a foreclosure. I would get a foreclosure list in a certain town and give that a shot and see how that works.
Okay.
And then you're gonna do that. You're gonna make your calls. You're gonna see now if you make say if you do something on foreclosures, probably about of all the calls you make, 20% tops are going to be interested in selling their property. Only about 10% are going to be super interested, and only like maybe like 5% are gonna sell you their house. So my success would be, and you should calculate this, is how many people were interested. I called 100 people and 20 people were interested. Well, that's pretty good. That's a 20% return. That's okay. And of that 20, I closed one deal. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I'll take that, no problem. So you always want to kind of have some analytics of each marketing thing you do. You need to go through and analyze and see, what you did, what your results are, and then you decide if it's worth it or not worth it.
Okay.
Okay. So on PropStream, I would suggest you move to a different filter and give that a try. Probates, I think you did try probates, isn't that correct?
Yes.
So what was the issue with your probate stuff?
So I just didn't have a lot of them. I mailed them. I haven't heard anything back. I did send an RVM out after you told me to call them. I got a call back from one guy, and I need to call him back. But other people, so like, I kind of wait until they call me back and leave a message to see if they're motivated, because if they call me back and don't like leave a message, it's kind of like the calls that I get where they're like, why are you calling me, this and that. I don't know if that's something.
Well, like I said, I wouldn't, you got to come from a better prospect of, I want to buy this house, but if this guy don't want it, I don't give a shit. I'm moving on to the next one. I've got 50 of these I got to call. So if you're not interested, well, hey, listen, thank you very much. If anything ever changes, give me a call. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Sure.
Bye. That kind of thing. So I would, what I would do is with the probates, I would either get the list through a lead company, or I would do the counties, and I would just call them up. And if they didn't return my phone call, I did a follow-up call the next day, and then I did a third follow-up call 3 days later.
Okay.
And at that point, if I got no answer, I would give up on that lead and move on to the next one. Now, when I make the phone calls, I phone call, I leave a message, and I also leave them a text message. They're much more responding to seeing a text than an email or even a message you leave.
Okay.
So the probate list was number one. I called them. They didn't answer. I left a message. Then right after that, I sent them a text. Then 2 days later, I call back again. I leave a message, but I don't text. And then the third time, I call them again. I leave one last message, and then that would be it. If I don't get a call back by then, I let it go.
So do you call them? So you're saying I should call them like physically, like just each one dial the number and then call them? Because I've just been leaving RVMs.
I just call them.
Oh, okay.
I just call them. There's a lot more power in relationship building to calling someone and talking to them on the phone than sending them shit.
Okay.
So that's how I would do the probate. It's call with a voicemail and a text, call again 2 days later with a voicemail, call a third time 5 days later, and that's it. The mailing stuff I tried didn't work. Sending emails didn't work. This is the only thing that worked. And, I'll talk to you about the talking stuff in a few minutes. Let's just go through the last two. Using a lead generation company to get lists. Like there's companies called Exact Data and Info USA. They're really good. They can give you lists complete with phone numbers for probates, for divorcees, for anything you want, basically. It's just a matter of price. So I would research Exact Data and Info USA and just take a look at, you can give them a call. Just say, listen, I'm thinking about, getting some lead lists for, I'm a real estate investor. Just want to know what the process was, what the cost might be. I'm just kind of looking into this as a possible lead generation tool for me, and see what they say and see what that is. You might want to pull a list from them for who knows what.
Okay.
But they're decent. Those two companies are very good, and they provide really good lists. Okay, and then the last one, which is probably maybe not up your alley right now, but this one works really, really well, is hiring a lead gen marketing company to do the advertising and send you the warm leads. It's definitely a little more expensive, but you're going to get, if you get the right company, they can send you high quality leads. But you got to be to the point, before I would do this, you got to get to the point where you're good at talking on the phone, where you can, you don't want to screw up a lead because you're paying for each one.
Yeah.
It's usually a monthly fee. So you pay like, I think like, some of them just pay a flat fee and they guarantee 20 leads a month. Some of them pay a monthly smaller fee and it costs per every lead we give you. And those are warm leads. Those are people that filled out something that said they do want to sell their house. And these are a couple of companies that work well. Bold Leads, Prospect Now, Bark, Need to Sell My House Fast. All those are good lead gen companies that'll bring you good solid leads. But again, I wouldn't do this until I got better at talking on the phone.
Sure.
And things like that. So these are all of the stuff that we use and some of the best ones that we do. So now what I want you to do is I want you to be able to focus on maybe 3 of these. So let me say, of all these things, what do you think would be something you'd be interested in kind of pursuing to start with, as far as what you want to do, free, budget, whatever.
Calling real estate agents would be one, definitely. Maybe maybe like networking with Facebook groups, which I've been meetups and stuff, which I've been doing. Especially since we stopped going to, like, especially since everyone's staying at home and we stopped going to physical meetups. I've been like on Facebook groups like SJ REIA and J REIA, stuff like that. On kind of trying to network with other wholesalers, commenting on their posts and stuff like that. So maybe I can JV a deal with them, and then also maybe I can use them to bird dog if they wanted to.
Go ahead.
I think definitely calling real estate agents, definitely Zillow, maybe on the agent side for Zillow and not the FSBO side. And I mean, I don't know. I've used PropStream already, and then I've driven for dollars already. I think once I start to get more capital and once I start to get more of a budget, some of the paid ways look better, but I just don't want to. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on marketing.
Yep.
I'd rather take the free ways first, and then as I start to grow, then I can go into one of the paid ways of marketing.
No, that's pretty much exactly what I thought you were going to say. So my suggestions is, I think your number one marketing strategy right now should be agents and Zillow.
Mm-hmm.
I think number 2, which is definitely networking, keep networking. figure out how you can, post and be of value to someone, like I said, and put, looking to JV with people on deals, or, looking for properties in so-and-so, anybody, in Trenton, anybody have some good deals, drop me a line, in some of those Facebook groups. I would focus, I would do that. Even on meetup.com, if you go on some of those webinar ones and put some comments, hey guys, what's up? This is Jeremy. I'm looking for, I'm looking for great flip in, Monmouth County. Anyone got anything, hit me up or message me, private message me.
Sure.
So those would be the kind of posts that I would put on as far as the networking stuff goes. Okay, so that's one aspect that you should be working on next, the rest of this week. Okay, I think maybe even on that same route, looking for people to to partner with in my investment company to help locate properties, and that's about bird dogs. I would also do that as part of that two-prong approach. So I think half your time should be on those Facebook groups and social media and meetup.com, looking for people who've got deals and looking for bird dogs.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that's where you should focus half. And I want you to come up with a plan on how you want to do that. Write it down. Say, okay, how am I going to go about this? I'm going to make sure I join all the Facebook groups. I'm going to post on every one of them about, about looking for a partner for locating properties, and about if anyone has any available properties in a certain area. I'm going to put those on, 2 of those posts on every Facebook group each week. Okay, so come up with an action plan for that.
Okay.
Exactly what you want to do. And then send it to me. I want to see. And then the second one would be the agents in Zillow. So, again, I would find my target area. I would use Zillow to target that area. Go through, find houses that look like it needs work to it. That is more of an investor type house and not a retail type house. I would call that agent and I would ask him about information about the property. I would tell him I'm an investor. I'm telling him I need a listing agent for that area. If he could help me out, I'd love to have someone that's be able to give me any kind of really good properties that pop up, or even off-market stuff if you get anything in that area, and start building relationships with those agents and start finding properties and start analyzing them and making offers.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of the ones that you're going to see that might be distressed on Zillow are going to be bank properties, and that's okay. You can make an offer for a bank property and just make an offer. Who cares? We'll see what they say. No, yes, renegotiate, but put an offer in. Can't hurt.
Sure.
The worst they can do is say no, and then you have to have the attitude that if it doesn't work out, I'm going to move right on to the next one and stop wasting my time.
Sure.
And you have to have that kind of mindset. So go ahead.
Sorry. I get like super nervous on the phone. I don't know why, because like I don't get nervous like talking to people, and I've never really gotten nervous talking to people, but like when I'm like on the phone talking to sellers, I get like super nervous about it. And like I said, I don't know why. I guess because it seems like there's more pressure on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, you're calling someone you have no idea who they are, and believe me, it's a lot of pressure, and it sucks. I remember in the beginning when I'd make those phone calls, a lot of them, it would take me like 5 minutes to make the call, because I would just sit there and try to build up enough courage to make the call, and then I would do it, and I would screw up, and I get pissed off at myself. So what you're going through, like, I don't want you to be discouraged, because what you're going through is what every one of us have went through. Okay, it's not you, it's the process.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is for every call that you make is to make a note on that call and make a note on what you did wrong, what you think you could have done better, and keep compiling that and use that information on your next call. Okay. And yeah, I mean, it happens, but the more and more I did at it, the better I got at it. Now, what I would do if I was you is I would kind of come under the preference that you're like in your mind subconsciously that you're actually working for us. It's not just you. You're working for JDL. And just come
Okay.
across like that. I'm just an employee. Listen, I'm calling you up. You want to sell your house? Me and my partner, I'm partnering with this with a company, and they, we flip all kinds of properties, and we'd love to be able to sell yours. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, come up with that kind of thing instead of it just being like this is only you.
Hmm.
Help me not be so nervous.
Okay.
And I always used to say, I was like, yeah, my partners, or I gotta discuss this with my partner. I'll get back to you. I always use that as my fallback. Um, but you have me and you have, Doug kind of on your side here. So you have some you should be able to have some confidence in knowing that, being able to call these people.
Yeah.
Again, don't take things personally. This is business only. And it's just mostly about, confidence. I'm going to send you the bullet points on how to talk and that stuff. But, again, it's, if I'm calling, let's just say I'm calling an agent, and I went through this before, but I'm going to go through it again, Bob Smith. So, basically I would get on the phone with him and say, hey, Bob, this is Rich. I'm from Jeremy's Investments. The reason I'm calling is I was looking through Zillow and I found this fantastic property that I think, might be able to fit my criteria. I flip houses, me and my partner flip houses in the area. We flipped in other parts of New Jersey, and we're working on this area right now. So I just, I need a little bit more information about this property. I was wondering if you can help me out. He says, yeah. I'm like, all right, fantastic. So let me know. I mean, I got that it's 2 bed, 3 bath, this. Do you know what the condition of the roof is? You know what the condition of that is this and that. I'm like, and then he'll give me the answer to, I'm like, oh, all right, that's awesome. That's fantastic. I'm looking for a couple of realtors in the area. I mean, I'm kind of new in this area. We've been in other parts of New Jersey, my partner. So we're looking for agents to possibly help us out, give us some, be able to help us out with comps. And of course, once we do these flips, we need an agent to list the property. So, I'd love to be able to work with you on this and see if we can, get a deal together, you and me. Is that something that you would be interested in, Bob? Yeah, I think, he would say, yeah, I'm interested. That sounds decent. All right, fantastic. I'm like, I'll tell you what, let me go home. Let me kind of work on these numbers. Let me go over with my partner. And then I'm going to call you in 2 days. All right. And I'll let you know if this deal makes sense or not, and then, in the meantime, Bob, listen, if anything comes across your table that you think is a decent deal for an investor, send it my way. I was like, what I'm going to do as soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going to text you my email address. So you got it. Anything that pops up, send it to me. That way, because anything that looks good, I can close in 30 days. I can get the ball rolling on that. And, we're in and out in about 6 months, and you can get this thing on the market and list it. So you see what I'm saying as far as coming out with a little more confidence in knowing what I'm doing and talking about. Does that make sense
Sure.
to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that comes from practice.
Yeah.
It just comes from practice. So I want to send you the bullet points for talking. I want you to work on the Zillow stuff and come up with your plan for Zillow and agents. I want you to come up with your plan for, networking in the Facebook groups and looking for bird dogs. And, that's what I want you to work on. And then I want you to implement both of those plans starting next week or even this week. You get it out to me by tomorrow. Let's start implementing it tomorrow. And come up with like I said, a plan. So I'm going to go through Zillow on Friday. I'm going to come up with 7 or 8 properties that I'm interested in, and I'm going to call 6 realtors. And on Monday, I'm going to look in this area in Zillow, and I'm going to call back 5 realtors and do that. And then I'm going to call back on Monday the 5 realtors that I talked to on Friday. I'm going to talk to them about making possible offers. And so come up with a game plan and a strategy for that. And it's just going to be a matter of you getting on the phone and talking and using the talking points and just getting comfortable.
Yeah, I think that's one of my bigger problems is just to be able to get on the phone and talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
No, from what I'm seeing that is one of your biggest problems. And again, you're not alone in this. This is something that I went through as well. So don't Don't look at it as like, look at each call you make as a learning opportunity and an opportunity to get better at doing that.
Sure.
So what I would do, so if this is something that's really important, I would make a list I would make a sheet for each call that I make. And to comment on that, like, rate the call on how well it went, 1 through 5. List the top 3 things that I did well. List the top 3 things that I did good. List, what things do I need to improve on? Any miscellaneous notes. And do that for like almost every call you make, and then analyze that and use that to do better.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can work on that. So I would work on those things first before you go out and start making more phone calls. And so the idea is each agent you call, you're going to find out, what you did good, what you did bad, and what you need to improve. And then you implement it on the next call. The next call, what I did good, what I did bad, and what I need to improve in the next call. And you'll notice that you'll get better and better and better at it. It's probably going to take you 20 or 25 or 30 phone calls to get really good at it.
Okay.
So don't be discouraged by that. That's a normal process, and it's happened to everyone. All right. I think we covered quite a bit of stuff. Any other questions you had to me before we go? And I'm going to send you the talking points, and I'm going to send you the thing that I showed you today as well.
I forget that there was something I wanted to ask you, and I just forgot it. It just slipped my mind.
Was it about talking? Was it about the marketing, lead gen?
I think it was about talking. I don't know.
And another thing, Jeremy, too, if I got on a call and the guy seems like a real dick or he's just being a real pain in my ass, I usually end up cutting the call short and I move on.
Okay.
So I'd be like, I'll ask them some questions. Oh, what are you doing that for? Well, I need to know this information so I can make you a, decent offer on property. Well, how much you going to offer? Well, sir, I don't really know. I don't really know yet until I have all the information and facts. Once I do, I'll be able to make you an offer. Well, I need to know. I need at least $300,000. I'm like, well, listen, sir. I'm like, listen, it doesn't seem like this, that you and I are going to be a good fit for each other. If it does change, you have my number. You can always give me a call. We can discuss it further. But have a great day, and good luck with your property. And then that's it.
Okay.
So if you get one like that, just on to the next one.
Okay.
That's always what they said, and that's always what someone taught me is don't take it personal. If one doesn't work on, it's on to the next one. That doesn't work out, on to the next one. And you're going to make a shitload of mistakes, but that's how you learn. That's how you get better. Every mistake you make, you should get better. No one's ever succeeded on their first try. Never happened.
Sure.
You succeed on your 20th try, 30th try. I think they said, Thomas Edison tried to make a light bulb 1,000 times. If he quit on the first 999 times, he never would have made it. But it's that 1,000th time where he hit it. So you got to have that kind of attitude,
Okay.
About that, and it will definitely help you. All right. I do have to go. I got